Why do you keep hiding your phone every time I walk into the room?
Here we go again. You always create problems out of nothing. You're acting paranoid.
Oh, please, Caius, I'm not stupid. And you're acting guilty.
The tension between them had become part of the apartment now. Like background noise, neither of them acknowledged anymore. Every conversation somehow turned into an argument. Every argument ended with silence, and somehow the silence always felt worse. But trust me, what happened that night made every previous fight look small. And if you enjoy emotional breakup stories filled with betrayal, suspicion, shocking confessions, and revenge, welcome back to Breakup Diaries. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments if you think Seraphina was overreacting, or if her instincts were trying to save her before it was too late. Caius rubbed his forehead impatiently. I'm tired, Seraphina. I don't have the energy for this tonight. That's funny, she replied sharply. You have energy for literally everything else. His jaw tightened immediately. Before he could respond, Seraphina's phone buzzed loudly against the marble counter. Unknown number. Caius glanced at the screen for barely a second before looking away too quickly. Probably spam, he muttered. Seraphina picked it up anyway. One image message. She opened it casually at first, then froze. Her stomach dropped instantly. It was a screenshot of Caius' private messages. Not sent to her. Sent about her. Inside another woman's group chat. And the worst part. One message stood out immediately. She still has absolutely no idea. Caius barely touched his dinner that night. That alone told Seraphina more than his words did. Usually, after arguments, he became louder. Defensive. Annoyed. But now he was quiet. Careful. And careful people were usually hiding something. You're really going to believe random screenshots over me? He finally asked. Seraphina looked up slowly from across the kitchen island. Are they fake? Caius hesitated. Tiny pause. Barely noticeable. But once you stop trusting someone, you start hearing pauses differently. They're out of context. Not fake. Out of context. That answer sat badly in her stomach immediately. Later that night, while Caius showered, Seraphina sat alone on the couch replaying everything from the last few months. The late meetings. The gym membership he suddenly cared about. The way he smiled at his phone, then locked it quickly whenever she walked close. At the time, she convinced herself not to overreact. Because nobody wants to become that insecure wife. But now every memory felt infected. Her phone buzzed again suddenly. Unknown number. Another screenshot. This one wasn't messages. It was a photo. Caius sitting beside Myrle Arden at some rooftop bar downtown. Close enough that strangers would assume they were together. Timestamp 2 weeks ago. The same night he claimed he was working late with clients. Seraphina zoomed into the picture slowly. And what broke her wasn't even the cheating suspicion. It was the expression on his face. Relaxed. Happy. The version of him she hadn't seen at home in months. At that exact moment, the bathroom door opened. Caius walked out drying his hair casually. Then stopped immediately when he saw her face. And for the first time since this started, he looked scared. The next few days felt unreal. Not dramatic, just wrong in small ways. Chaos became overly attentive suddenly. Making coffee. Checking on her constantly. Like he thought being softer now could erase what she already saw. But Seraphina noticed something else too. People around them were acting strange. At brunch that Sunday, one of Chaos' friends barely made eye contact with her. Another looked uncomfortable the entire time. Then there was the moment that really stayed with her. A waitress walked up smiling brightly at first, then paused after seeing Seraphina sitting beside Chaos. "Oh," she said awkwardly, "I thought." She stopped herself immediately. Chaos answered too quickly. "Can we just get waters first?" The waitress nodded and walked away fast. Seraphina watched him carefully after that. "You thought what?" she asked calmly. Chaos didn't even look up from the menu. Nothing." But people don't panic over nothing. That night, Seraphina searched Myrle Arden online for the first time. And suddenly, everything became worse. Photos from office events. Comments from mutual coworkers. Inside jokes she didn't understand. Then she found one picture from months earlier. Chaos was in the background holding Myrle's purse while she laughed at something off camera. Such a small detail. But intimate in a way strangers wouldn't notice. Girlfriends notice things like that immediately. Wives definitely do. And suddenly, Seraphina realized the affair wasn't hidden nearly as well as she thought. People knew. Maybe not everything. But enough. Enough to look uncomfortable around her. Enough to quietly pity her while smiling to her face. And somehow, that humiliation hurt even more than the cheating itself. "Do you even hear yourself anymore?" Chaos stood in the living room staring at Seraphina like she was exhausting him. "You've turned one misunderstanding into this whole fantasy." Fantasy. That word almost made her laugh. Because nothing destroys trust faster than someone trying to convince you your instincts are irrational. Seraphina folded her arms tightly. "So the rooftop photo is fake too." "I already told you, Myrle was there with coworkers." "You were holding her purse." Chaos blinked once. Then immediately looked irritated, instead of surprised. "That's seriously what you're focusing on." There it was again. Deflection. Every answer became another question. Every concern became evidence she was too emotional. And honestly, part of her hated how effective it almost was. Because late at night, lying awake beside him, she still questioned herself sometimes. Maybe she was overreacting. Maybe people really were reading too deeply into harmless things. Then her phone buzzed again the next afternoon. Another unknown number. This time it wasn't screenshots. It was a voice recording. 32 seconds long. Seraphina sat frozen in her parked car outside Target while pressing play. Myrle's voice came first, laughing softly. Then Chaos. Clear as day. She notices things, but she never pushes hard enough. Both of them laughed after that. Laughed. Seraphina replayed it twice just to make sure she heard correctly. And suddenly, every ounce of confusion disappeared instantly. Because cheating hurts. But realizing two people have been privately making you the joke. That changes something permanently. When Caius came home later carrying groceries, casually like any normal evening, Seraphina looked at him differently for the first time. Not with suspicion anymore. With certainty. Once Seraphina stopped confronting Caius, he relaxed immediately. That alone disgusted her. The moment he thought she believed him again, he became lighter. More affectionate. Almost cheerful. Like the relationship only worked when she stayed confused. One Friday night, he even suggested they go out together. Dinner downtown. Fancy rooftop restaurant. Good wine. The kind of night couples post online pretending everything is perfect. And honestly, Seraphina played along beautifully. She laughed when expected, held his hand when cameras appeared nearby, even posted a picture of them smiling together. Within minutes, comments flooded in. You two are goals smiling face with hard eyes. Perfect couple. Real love still exists. Seraphina stared at those comments quietly, while Caius sat across from her texting someone under the table. Probably Myrtle. Probably laughing again. Then something happened she would never forget. A woman passing their table slowed down slightly after recognizing Caius. Her eyes moved from him to Seraphina. Then sympathy flashed across her face for barely a second before she kept walking. That look haunted Seraphina more than any screenshot. Because it confirmed the ugliest possibility. She wasn't the only one who knew anymore. She was just the last one to fully accept it. Later that night, while Caius slept beside her peacefully, Seraphina opened the screenshots again. Not crying this time. Studying them. And that was when she realized something important. Myrtle wasn't sending these accidentally anymore. Someone wanted her to see everything. The question was why. And deep down, she had a feeling the affair was messier than Caius realized. The final message arrived on a Tuesday morning. No screenshot this time. Just one sentence. He's lying to both of you. That was it. No explanation. No name. But an hour later, Seraphina got her answer herself. Myrtle Arden showed up at her apartment building. In person. Seraphina almost didn't recognize her without the polished office photos and filtered social media posts. Myrtle looked exhausted. Nervous. Human. I didn't know he was still sleeping with his ex, she admitted quietly. Seraphina stared at her in disbelief. His what? And suddenly, the entire situation became even uglier. Caius wasn't managing one relationship. He was juggling multiple lies badly. Myrtle laughed bitterly while sitting on the couch minutes later. He tells every woman a different version of himself. That line stayed with Seraphina deeply. Because it explained everything. The charm. The manipulation. The constant gaslighting. Caius didn't just cheat. He customized realities, depending on who he was talking to. That evening, Seraphina finally confronted him one last time. No yelling. No crying. Just truth sitting between them heavily. Caius looked genuinely shaken once he realized Myrtle had exposed everything. It got complicated, he muttered weakly. No, Seraphina replied calmly. You just thought you were smarter than everybody. Silence filled the apartment after that. Then she handed him his spare key. And for the first time in months, Caius had absolutely nothing left to say. Because manipulation only works while somebody still doubts themselves. And Seraphina finally didn't. Backhand index pointing, right? Be honest. What's worse? Getting cheated on or realizing multiple people knew and stayed quiet while you looked foolish? Flushed backhand. This is Breakup Diaries. See you on the next one.